Breaking news! What if I told you that in the very first preseason game, the Ravens might have uncovered not just one, but several players who could change the entire dynamic of this team, and maybe even decide how far Baltimore goes this year? We're talking about unexpected stars emerging, veterans fighting to keep their spots, and a few moments so electric they had the whole stadium buzzing. But the real story isn't just what happened, it's what it means for the roster battles, the playbook, and the future of this team in ways nobody saw coming. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens!" Let's talk about the spark that lit up the field, LaJohntay Wester. This wasn't just a good performance, it was the kind of night that makes you think about the last time Baltimore had a truly electric return man. Since Jacoby Jones' glory days in 2012, Ravens fans have been waiting for someone who could flip the field with one burst of speed. Last night, Wester gave them a glimpse of exactly that with a stunning 87-yard punt return that had him slicing through defenders like he was running a video game highlight reel. He'd already teased it earlier with a 15 to 20-yard return, showing the agility, ball security, and vision you need to make special teams a legitimate threat again. Sure, it's preseason, but the statement was made, this guy is different. And Wester wasn't the only one who looked ready to rewrite his own story. Running back Keaton Mitchell, the same undrafted rookie who lit things up 2 years ago before injuries slowed him down, looked like his old self again. 6 carries, averaging about 10 yards each at one point, decisive cuts, blazing speed, and that same knack for turning a hole into a foot race he usually wins. With Derrick Henry holding down the starting role for now, Mitchell could still be carving his way toward the future RB1 conversation if he stays healthy and gets the opportunities. Then there's the much-hyped rookie pass rusher Mike Green, whose debut proved that all the training camp buzz wasn't just hot air. Quick off the snap, slippery in pursuit, and already showing polish beyond his years, Green looks like he could be the next in Baltimore's growing list of homegrown defensive threats. His shared sack with Adissa Isaac was one of several flashes that made you think this pass rush group might be deeper and more versatile than expected. Speaking of Isaac, he not only notched his own strong plays, but also showcased versatility by dropping into coverage at times, a sign the coaches are already testing how many roles he can handle. David Ohabo also made headlines with a clean, unblocked sack on Anthony Richardson that ended the quarterback's night with a dislocated pinky. Still, Ohabo's roster security is far from guaranteed. Plays like that help, but his overall consistency will determine whether he stays in Baltimore or finds himself in trade rumors. On offense, Rasheen Ali took advantage of extra reps with Henry and Justice Hill sitting out, racking up 37 yards and a touchdown on 9 carries, plus a big kick return. Unfortunately, a late-game injury has put his preseason in doubt, and the team will now have to evaluate their running back depth closely. Meanwhile, linebacker Jay Higgins turned heads with a leaping interception and another drive-killing pass breakup, and with the spot next to Roquan Smith still unsettled, he's suddenly in the mix for real playing time. The secondary also had its share of bright spots. Jalen Armour-Davis, after battling injuries for much of his young career, put together a strong all-around night in coverage and special teams, strengthening his hold on a final cornerback slot. Rookie T.J. Tampa logged more snaps in this single game than in his entire rookie year, holding up well overall and gaining valuable mental reps. Even the kicking game had a storyline. Rookie Tyler Loop shook off an early 46-yard miss to nail a 52-yarder later. A confidence boost that could prove crucial as the Ravens continue to back him as their guy. But it wasn't all positive. Backup quarterbacks Cooper Rush and Devin Leary both had rough outings, with Leary's 3-for-12, one interception night raising concerns about depth behind Lamar Jackson. Daniel Fallalay also had an uneven showing at right guard, struggling in a few reps where he was pushed backward, though the team is clearly betting on his development. And rookie cornerback Bilal Combs suffered a season-ending injury, an unfortunate reminder of how quickly preseason dreams can be derailed. Because as exciting as some of these preseason storylines are, we've seen plenty of summer standouts fade once the lights get brighter and the games start to count. The Ravens have a history of unearthing hidden gems in August, but they've also had their share of where'd he go? Players who never quite recreated the magic when the stakes were higher. That's why the next 2 preseason games aren't just filler. They're auditions to prove these flashes weren't just one-night wonders. For LaJohntay Wester, the biggest test will be consistency. Special teams coordinators around the league are already watching his tape, figuring out how to take away those cutback lanes he exploited against the Colts. The question is, can he still make game-changing plays when return coverage is schemed specifically to stop him? If he can, even just a few times in the regular season, it changes Baltimore's field position battle dramatically. Keaton Mitchell's path is different but equally tricky. With Derrick Henry set to be the workhorse and Justice Hill in the rotation, Mitchell has to make his limited touches count. That means breaking off explosive runs even in short yardage situations, staying patient when the big lanes aren't there, and proving he can hold up in pass protection, something the coaches value as much as raw speed. If he nails those details, he could force Todd Monken to carve out design touches just for him. Mike Green's challenge is to keep refining his technique while maintaining that first-step quickness that already jumps off the screen. Rookie pass rushers can be dangerous early in the year, but the really good ones are still producing by December, when opposing linemen have plenty of tape on them. If Green can keep adding counters to his rush moves and play with the same relentless motor, he might be a key situational weapon right away, and maybe much more by season's end. David Ohabo's situation is more urgent. While his sack on Richardson was clean and impactful, roster spots for edge rushers are tight, and the Ravens may decide his flashes aren't enough compared to younger, healthier options. That's why every snap he takes in the preseason matters. If he can string together back-to-back strong performances, the front office may think twice about moving him. The linebackers are perhaps the most fascinating group to watch. Jay Higgins showed the kind of range and ball skills that could make him a great complement to Roquan Smith, but he'll need to show that same impact against faster-paced offenses. And while Trent Simpson and others are still in the mix, Higgins' tape from the Colts game gives him momentum going into the next round of evaluations. In the secondary, Jalen Armour-Davis might finally be turning the corner in his development, but health has always been his biggest hurdle. If he could just stay on the field, he might not only make the roster, he could earn meaningful snaps in nickel or dime packages. TJ Tampa's marathon workload in Game 1 suggests the coaches want to see how much he can handle. If his play sharpens as the preseason goes on, his role could grow quickly. Tyler Loop's rookie kicking journey is also far from over. One make from 52 is great, but the Ravens will want to see him handle pressure in late-game situations, even in preseason. Harbaugh knows a confident kicker can win games in January, and an unsteady one can end them. The bottom line is this: last night wasn't just a preseason opener. It was the first chapter of multiple roster battles and career-defining moments. Some players are on the rise, others are fighting to stay relevant, and a few are already staring down uphill climbs. The Ravens may have walked away with a win, but the bigger story is which of these performances will still matter when Week 1 kicks off. And that's where the intrigue really kicks in, because the Ravens aren't just evaluating talent, they're shaping their identity for the season ahead. If Wester cements himself as a return threat, it forces opponents to adjust their special teams game plan, giving Baltimore hidden yardage in every matchup. If Mitchell proves he's more than a change of pace back, Monken can deploy a true three-headed rushing attack with Henry's power, Hill's reliability, and Mitchell's explosiveness. On defense, a rookie like Mike Green making early waves could allow the Ravens to rotate fresher legs into the pass rush late in games, something that could decide tight contests. Even someone like Jay Higgins, who's suddenly in the linebacker conversation, could free up Roquan Smith to be more aggressive in blitz packages. These aren't just individual storylines, they're potential chess pieces in a season where every edge matters. And in true Ravens fashion, the biggest surprises might come from the players nobody saw coming. So tell me, which under-the-radar name are you betting on to break through?